Peter, welcome. How are you?
I'm doing very well. So watching Tampa come up on the outside here.
You know, it's funny, yes. And the Yanks, this was the most bizarre series, Peter. I don't even know where to start. But the people here have dealt with me with that all the time. So let's get a little preview on the Red Sox here as they come in. How do the Red Sox view this series as they arrive here? They got their pitching. They got Buchholz back for Sunday. They got Lester tonight. They got the lefty Dubron tomorrow. Teixeira and Euclid will be in the lineup tonight. So they're here, and they're going to be in the lineup tonight. I haven't seen the lineup yet, but that's what I was told, so unless there's an unexpected problem. But how do they view the Yankees right now as they arrive?
I think they're always afraid of them. I mean, they're in a stretch now where they play the Yankees, and then they play Texas. They play the Angels, who are now hot. They play Tampa a couple of times. They play Detroit. So they've got a rough stretch, a rough month of June. So I think every series is sort of plot ahead and go from day to day. I mean, what was fortunate this week is they got away with being able to go out and win with Aceves starting a game and Morales starting a game.
Buchholz, they said it was just him sleeping wrong or something like that. Is that what it turned out to be? A scare, but nothing more. The shoulder's fine, and no issues about Sunday night.
Well, I mean, I guess not. There were some issues where he felt when he threw in Chicago, and then they said, well, okay, and then he slept wrong when they got home late in the morning, and so. I think normally they would have just let him pitch, but I think there's such concern about what is this guy going to be like in August or September. I mean, it's so important to them to have Lester, Buchholz, Lackey healthy come the stretch drive, because I still think it's going to be a 4 or 5 team race. That they have to make sure that he gets in 30 starts and not try to get him to 35.
We know what to expect with Lester. What should we expect? What would you say about the maturity of Dubron?
Well, it's still a work in progress. He hasn't been able to throw strikes consistently. He came into spring training a little out of shape, and his command hasn't been there. His velocity's been down 3-4 miles an hour from last year. He got a little bit better last time out, and they've really pushed him with extra bullpen sessions and trying to quicken him up on the mound. Well, maybe he'll get better. He's got the stuff to be a 15, 16-game winner. Because he can throw 95 when he's right, but he hasn't. He's been 88 to 91 most of this year, and the command hasn't been there of his fastball. So, I mean, they really don't know where he's going. I think that they want to find that out, put a lot of work into him, and see where he is. Because they've got a couple of guys in the minor leagues that they can eventually bring up. But, if Dubron's at the age of 25 where it should be time for him to be in their rotation every fifth day.
Peter, there's with the Mets rebuilding and starting now to think about next year and outfield help. Ellsbury gets mentioned a lot here. Last night, 3 hits, 5 stolen bases. He's got 21 steals already. I know he's only hitting .268, and he's been anemic against left-handed pitching. What's the Red Sox plans? I mean, does Ellsbury want to stay in Boston? Does Boston going to make a legitimate offer, or are they going to let him go on a free agent market and he's gone? What do you think is going to happen with him?
I think they'll make a legitimate offer in their minds, but my guess is that Scott Boras is going to make him his prime guy next winter and take him out there for all he can get. And of course, he's been hot. He's been on base 24 of the last 45 times up. If he ends up with 3 or 4 really good months, they'll make a qualifying offer of the $14 million and either takes it for 1 year or he goes out in the market and they get the draft choice. But I don't think they're going to go to any 5-year, $20 million a year contract. I mean, he's a really good player, but he's going to be 30, and those numbers that he put up in 2011, when he arguably was the most valuable player in the league, were a little bit. I mean, what are they? Were they an outlier or not? Because he hit 32 home runs. He's never hit 10 in another season in the majors or the minors. His slugging was about 200 points higher than at any other time. So. I think a lot depends on what he does. He's a very difficult call for anybody. I mean, I don't know if another team, the Mets may look at him and say, wow, but I'm not so sure that Sandy Alderson would give him $18 million a year
they won't.
if he does.
They won't.
If he doesn't have a big year.
If he wants that, he won't get it here. They won't do that. I know they won't do. They would only do that for a big. They like home runs. They would only do that for a big power hitter. So, I don't think if he's in that market, if he has, and he's going to have a big year to get that. But if he gets that, then he won't be here. But so you think the Red Sox will at least try to keep him on the periphery with a fair offer, if not one that knocks the Sox off, right?
Right, because they really believe in time. By this time next year, Jackie Bradley can play center field. He's a really good defender.
Yeah, he is.
Always on-base percentage guy, a lot of energy. I mean, I think that's kind of the way they move on. They have other young players that are eventually going to move in the next couple of years, and I think they've seen enough of what happens when you bring mercenaries in. The Yankees learned their lesson in the 80s and early 90s for the same thing. You're better off developing players you know and having your own. And look what's happened with the Yankees from 95 on. And I think that's the way the Red Sox would like to go. Know your own players, know what you have, and don't deal with guys who can't play in Boston. And I think that's Ellsbury's good, and he's a good player in Boston, but is he $16 to $18 million a year good? Maybe, but I'm not sure where.